Hello and welcome to tonight's show.
In today's news, a black woman speaks out after police officer attempts to tackle her in the park. A black woman said she was walking out of a closed park in Chicago, adhering the police instructions when a white police officer attempted to tackle her, allegedly unprovoked. And we're going to get into this story. We're going to get into this situation, and we finna go in on this cop. This sissified ass cop that decided he wanted to take matters into his own hands and try to manhandle this indigenous aboriginal black woman on the shit show.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your host with the most, Mr. Bain Allen. And today's topic, we're going to talk about this woman that was in Chicago, and all she was doing was just walking through the park with her dog. Now, understand, the park was closed, so she was exiting out, and a Caucasian officer got behind her, told her she had to leave, and she was leaving and going on about her business. So the officer, he pursues her, following her in his patrol vehicle, and he continues to harass this young lady as she's walking out the park with her dog. She stops to get on her cell phone to make a call, and he hops out of the car with no mask on, and he brutally attacks this woman for no reason. Okay, so let's get into the article of the situation, and we will further break this down as time goes on in this story. On August 28th, Nikita Brown said the officer drove up to her as she was walking her dog in the Lincoln Park neighborhood of Chicago and told her to leave immediately. Brown agreed, but the officer insisted on driving behind her as he walked out of the park. And eventually he got out of his vehicle to follow her on foot, and he began to approach her. Brown says she consistently told him, "I'm leaving and I am walking away," as she actively walked toward the exit. The officer got out of the car and told her, "You can go to jail." According to the video taken by Brown, who recorded the part of the encounter, Brown said he also allegedly told her she would never see her dog again. Brown says she took out her cell phone to record the altercation and call for help. Now, when I'm looking at this video, what I see is this coward trying to intimidate this small woman with his size, with his gun, and his badge. So when she stops to turn around, he walks up on her. He slaps her phone out of her hand. He tries to sweep kick her. And his fat ass didn't have nothing to do. His fat ass couldn't bring that little woman down, boy. Because let me tell you something. When I tell you she fought for her life, she fought for her life. Because you can see in that video, she was scared. She was screaming. She was kicking. She was pulling away. She was pushing. She was doing everything she possibly can to not get thrown on that ground. Because you know how they are. Once they get you on the ground, that's when they get really aggressive with you. That's when they really start putting their hands on you. That's when they really start using that unnecessary, excessive force that they do. You know what I'm saying? So, in the video, you can see it. He couldn't pull her down. He tried to wrestle with her for a few minutes, and he just came to the point and to the conclusion that he just gave up and he let her go. And he just went about his business and she went about her business. But it don't stop there. It just does not stop there. Okay? Because this asshole racial profiling people of color. So that's good that they took him off the streets, but he needs to be charged with assault. You know what I'm saying? He knocked her cell phone out of her hand. That's a felony. That's the same thing as somebody at home fighting with their girlfriend or something, and she tries to call 911 and he snatches the phone cord out of the wall. That's a felony. Same thing with this officer here. He slapped her phone out of her hand. That's a felony. He put his hands on her. That's a felony. He assaulted her for no reason. That's a felony. Now, if she broke the law for walking in the park when the park was closed, that's an infraction. That's not a reason to take somebody to jail. That is a ticket to be written, and she sees her day in court. But no, Mr. Billy Badass, he wanted to take matters into his own hands. Mr. Billy Badass, he wanted to show this young black woman who was boss. He wanted to show this woman, I'm the police officer. I'm in charge. And you black ass woman, you're going to listen to what I say. Because I'm large and I'm in charge. And it backfired on his ass. He didn't get the wrestler ass down. He tried. But his ass didn't succeed. It's a sad situation because as Aboriginal blacks, we get tired of being racially profiled by police officers. It's pathetic of the stupid stuff that they do to us to try to humiliate us. I can always remember just hanging out with my brothers and my friends, and we just minding our own business, and you get some white police officers, they pull up, they get out the car, then they call for backup, then you got 4 or 5 more police cars, then they making you sit on the curb in your clean clothes, then they trying to run your ID, then they trying to see who's on parole or probation, then they doing illegal searches and seizures, and we went through that time and time again for so many years. So, to see what we're seeing today, look here, man, I've been seeing that since I was a kid. I've been put on the curb by the police officer ever since I was 10 years old. That was my first encounter with a police officer. Me and my friend walking down the street with our boombox radio. Officer pulls up for no reason, hops out his car. Hey, what are you guys doing? We're walking. Where are you guys going? We're going to the park. You know, we kids, we didn't know our rights then to, you know, shut up and don't answer no questions. You know, he's a police officer, so as kids, you know what I mean, we communicating with the police officers. And he says, let me see your radio. So he takes my radio, he turns it around, and he peels a sticker off the back of the radio. And he says, oh, this radio is stolen. I said, stolen? No, it's not. My mama bought me that radio. No, it doesn't have a serial number on it. I'm taking this radio. And you lucky you guys don't go to jail. Get out of here. So basically, he robbed us. He took my radio. You know what I mean? And I told my mom about it, but she didn't even want to be bothered with the police officers. So she just went ahead and just bought me another radio. But I wish my mother would have went down there and fought for that, because that was theft. And that officer should have been charged with theft. But back then, you know, it just wasn't worth the hassle. But back to the story. So this officer, you know, he was put on desk duty. But according to Civilian Office of Police Accountability, which is COPA, C-O-P-A, the group is inquiring into the incident and the investigation is ongoing. It also says by a COPA official, we have a responsibility to investigate allegations of police misconduct and determine if they are well-founded based on the facts and evidence of the case. This was said by interim COPA Chief Andrea Kirsten. If violations did occur, COPA will hold the officer accountable. Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see. We'll see if they're gonna hold this doofball accountable for his ridiculous assault and battery actions on an innocent woman walking her dog in the park. In the park, dog. But she also said that there was other people in the park. It was white kids playing in the park, and he didn't say nothing to them. He drove right past them and went straight to her. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he was trying to get his perverted feel on too, while he was sitting up there harassing her, because she got that nice, sexy, aboriginal, petite body, and he just had to get his hands on it. You know what I mean? So I guess that was his only way of trying to touch her, I guess. You know? I'm surprised he didn't take her to jail for resisting arrest. I'm surprised he didn't take her to jail for assault. But he knew he was in the wrong. He knew it. That's why he just let her go. When have you seen an officer wrestle with somebody for a couple of minutes and then just say, oh, you can go? Why? Because eyes were on him. All those camera phones was on him. He knew he was wrong. He knew he was wrong from the beginning. He knew he was wrong when he first started harassing that woman. He could have easily just let that woman go on about her business and walk through the park, and she would have went home and no incident would have happened. But he wanted to start that. So, to this unnamed officer, this is my message to you, punk. Go on and take your behind in those rough, tough Chicago neighborhoods and go pull that stunt by yourself. Go see if them gangsters out there, them disciples and them vice lords, or them Bloods or them Crips in them tough, rough neighborhoods of Chicago is gonna let you do that to them by yourself. Go on and try it. Go on and try it. Yeah, see, you won't do that. But you knew that this indigenous aboriginal black woman was innocent. You knew she wasn't breaking no law. You knew she wasn't doing nothing wrong. You just wanted to assert your authority on a black woman, just basically saying in Lincoln Park she doesn't belong. That's what you basically saying. Oh, this is our part. We're patrolling this part, and black people don't belong in this part. Now, I'm not from Chicago. I don't know if Lincoln Park is in a good neighborhood or a bad neighborhood or whatever. But if anybody can tell me about it, just leave the comments below and educate me on it, because I don't know. I'm just basically reporting the incident between this officer and Mrs. Brown. So I'm going to end this crazy story, man. And I came to the conclusion where I hope this officer loses his job. He really needs to lose his job. He needs to be charged with assault and battery. And Mrs. Nikita Brown, she needs to file a lawsuit against the Chicago Police Department for letting goofballs like this patrol the streets and continue to keep harassing people over and over again. And they already know. They know already that this is not this asshole's first rodeo. They know they probably had several complaints of this guy doing this to people of color over and over and over and over and over again. But see, this time his butt got caught, and he can't hide from the cameras because several people recorded the incident. Several, not just her, before he knocked the phone out her hand, but other civilians. Shout out to them civilians that recorded this asshole. You know what I'm saying? They need to start getting rid of these bad cops. So these police officers can patrol these neighborhoods and parks and businesses the right way. We don't need to be racially profiled. We tired of that. You know what I mean? I'm not down with the Black Lives Matter movement or none of that. That's not my thing. You know, it's gonna come a time where people of color are gonna get tired, and when the revolution is televised, oh, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a real problem. You know what I'm saying? So to you racist white officers, keep your hands to yourself. Okay? Keep your hands to yourself. Stop messing with people for no reason because they have a color on their skin that's different from yours. How idiotic can you be? I know you guys got to make your stats. I know you guys got to make your quota because they treat the police department like it's a business now, even though it's funded by the people. The people are the ones who pay your salary. They take taxes out of our paychecks to make sure you guys get funded. And you guys are using the funds for revenge and hatred and racism. And that stuff needs to stop. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the same way that a doctor has to go to school for 5, 10, 15 years. The same reason a lawyer has to go to school to pass the bar for 5, 10, 15 years. Why we can't do that with the police department? Why do these guys only get up to 6 months and, oh, you're okay now to go out there in the streets. We're going to give you a gun. We're going to give you authority to go out there and do whatever you want to do, when you want to do it, and how you want to do it, without knowing these officers' mental psyche, without knowing these officers' family background and history. They only give them 6 months and they throw them out there in the streets. You know, Lil Timmy was getting picked on when he was a kid. Now Lil Timmy is the bully now because Lil Timmy got a badge now. Look at there. Ha ha ha. Pussy. I'm out. Peace.
Thank you and good night.